Blacksburg waiting to come out at the west end of the goalpost. As the sign is there, it says Grind the G-Men, Go Bruins, and Blacksburg will come out in the blue helmets, the blue jersey with yellow numbers and white pants with the blue stripe down the side, and the Graham G-Men come out in that typical maroon pants. They got the maroon helmet. Looks like the Washington Redskins of old with the G and the star on the side of the helmet, the stripe down the middle, and the white jersey. So that's it. The starting lineups for Blacksburg tonight, and look for a couple of these guys. I think they have a big night. Greg Keys is going to start at wide receiver. The receiver as well as Tyler Holmes. What a combination to have out there. And I go back to that touchdown pass that Trey Gresh threw to Tyler there in the Giles game, the latter part of the ball game. Perfectly arched, went right over to the backside of the defender, and Tyler Holmes called it right in his hands, right at the flag. So look for him to have a big night. Jordan Wade, the other receiver, he's going to be starting. The tackles, Daniel Overstreet and Nathan Hopkins. Pretty good ones. Bo Gentry back at the center spot. Dale Davis and Mark Kipps will be the right guard and right tackle. Tight end is Eric Hoff. He's just a junior. And their tailback is going to be Latrell Keys. Now, Latrell's going to go both ways tonight, folks. He's going to play defense as well. And the quarterback is Trey Gresh.
Expecting good things. You've got me in my notes, John.
I'm sorry?
I was just checking things out. Let's talk a little bit more about Trey. As I said last week, I asked the players some questions, see what their likes and dislikes are, and one of Trey's response was his favorite thing, which, let's see, John, if you can guess what Trey Gresh's favorite thing is.
Let's see.
It is football related.
NFL. I don't know what.
We'd be just throwing a touchdown.
There you go.
If that's your focus as the quarterback of the Bruins, we'd like to see a lot of him celebrating that feat tonight.
The 6'1", 200-pounder, by the way, and this young man, just a junior, he's going to be a big-time college prospect as the 08 season arrives.
Yeah, that's one of the other things he said is he does want to go and play in the NCAA. Nobody talked about the NFL yet. They're all focused on just, they know where they are, they know where they want to go, and they want to take the next step. And a lot of them understand that this is their football career, and they're here to have a really good time, and they're here because they love the game. A lot of them expressed aspirations of coaching, and a lot of them are just ready to try and improve here so that they can move on to the next step and try and get into the NCAA. And of course, one of them, I can't remember who it is, I will find out, did talk about going to Appalachian State. And this talk was before last week's game against Michigan.
Right. I have my own thoughts about Appalachian State. I think they're a Division I team. They're not a subdivision team. I mean, they need to be playing Division I football. Defensively for Blacksburg, the defensive ends are going to be Aaron Barber. He's a senior. And Adam Siegel, he's a senior. Defensive tackles are going to be Nathan Hopkins and Bo Gentry. Linebackers tonight, there's going to be a couple of changes. Eric Howard is going to be one of the inside linebackers along with Tyler Holmes. And Latrell Keys is going to start at one of the outside linebacker spots. He's just going to keep Eric Huff at tight end. And then Joey Phillips at the other outside linebacker spot. Safety's going to be Robert Sterrett, a pretty good one. And Josh Reynolds, Greg Keys also in the corner.
Yeah, the gentleman that was talking about Appalachian State was now I'm looking again. There it is. It was Nathan Hopkins guarding the defensive tackle. So that's one of his aspiration schools, VMI. And those are things he's thinking about to move on to the next level. I will tell you that he's not a native Virginian. He was born in Mount Airy, North Carolina.
Oh, so he's heading to North Carolina, back to Carolina.
He's thinking about it.
The birthplace of Frank Bingham. Mount Airy, by the way. Offensively, for Graham, we're going to see them. They're going to be receiving the kickoff, moving from right to left is where we sit. Their running back is going to be Jonathan Brewster, along with J.K. Goins is going to be one of the ends. The other running back, Ronnie Scott. You're going to see Alec Mars in there. Also, a tackle is going to be the big guy, 5'10", 240, Andres Epperson. At the one tackle, Josh Halsey, 6'3", 287. And he's just a junior. Jared Bailey, 5'11", 270-pounder. He's the other guard, along with Ben Scott, 5'11", 215. And one of the ends, Casey Barrera, 6'2", 215. He's a junior. And the quarterback tonight is going to be David Marr. He's a 5'11", 175-pounder. He's the son of the coach. So waiting for the kickoff here as the Bruins come onto the field, and they will be defending first. A very hot night tonight. Temperatures got up into the 90s today in the Blacksburg area, but tonight's temperatures, as the sun goes down, it's cooling off a little bit, especially here in the press box, Harley. And man, it was about 110 in here just a little while ago.
It was. It's starting to cool down a little bit, and there's a little bit of a breeze. We're trying to egg it on a bit. Not that we're complaining, we got great seats and we got a great view, and this is going to be an outstanding football game.
So kicking off for Blacksburg, once again, is going to be Caleb Violet, the 5'11", 187-pound senior. And deep for Graham. Standing back at the goal line is Dominique Lane, 5'9", 178-pound sophomore. And also back there is number 11, Jonathan Brewster, the 5'8", 160-pound senior. Here's Violet getting ready to kick off from left to right. It's a high end-over-end kick. And it's taken by Brewster. Back at the goal line to the 10, to the 15, down to the 20. Has some running room up the middle to the 25-yard line where he's brought down right at the 26. So tackle on the play for Blacksburg, Justin Huff there. So it brings up 1st and 10 for Graham. And we'll see a typical 5-3 defense, I think, opened up the game for the Bruins. Now, Coach did say we'll see a 40 front as well. That's a 4-man front with 4 linebackers. But once again, Graham very versatile. We'll see an I formation, some of the spread as well. And here we go. Trip receivers to the right, wide receiver to the left. Quarterback under centers, David Mars. The sophomore now hands off to the running back. Up the middle, he's stuffed at the line of scrimmage and running the football.
It was Austin Kennedy. Looked like he had
Austin
the tackle.
Kennedy.
He looks like Austin Kennedy had the tackle.
So Austin making the tackles to bring up 2nd down. Tyler Barreras on the carry. Tyler, 6 feet, 225-pounder, a senior. He wasn't listed in the starting lineup, but I guess they decided to play him. 2nd down and 10 now for the G-men. Once again, trip receivers to the right. Wide to the left is number 22, and that's J.K. Goins. Handoff goes to the big guy up the middle. Then he's going to be stacked at the line of scrimmage. No yardage on that carry. So it's going to be up 3rd and 10, and right at the initial attack was number 6.
Yeah, and
Tyler Holmes.
Basically, it was just an all-out gang tackle, too. It started with the interior line. Tyler Holmes joined in and made sure that the Graham runner didn't get anywhere.
So 3rd and 10 now for the Graham G-men. Here in the opening quarter of this Blacksburg Graham game. 0-0, 10:50 to go here in the first period. Up under center is Mars, the quarterback. And he's going to hand off once again to the big fullback. He's going to be hit right about the line of scrimmage once again. Tyler Holmes there making the play, along with the outside linebacker, Greg Key. So it's 4th down. We'll call it a very long 9, and Graham will punt it away.
Yeah, you can see why that experience of Tyler Keys really pays off, because there was nowhere for the runner to go. Tyler just was right on it, saw what was happening, took him down. Coach says Tyler doesn't really watch the ball. He watches his keys. He watches what the other players are doing and how they're reacting to make sure he's in the right place to make the play.
Deep for the Bruins, standing back at his own 40, is going to be Keys. He takes it at the 43. He comes to the near side, has a little bit of running room. Good block running outside. Greg Keys now goes around to his left, still on his feet, crosses the 45, still moves across the 50. He's going to be brought down to right about the Graham 49-yard line. So good coverage by Graham. Really a 10-yard return by Greg Keys, but Keys made a lot of yardage there, just not enough forward.
Yeah, he ran a couple of miles there, I think. He just kept cutting back and forth and reversing his field, looking for the block. Finally just got to a point where he cut it up and got an extra 4 or 5 yards out of it.
1st and 10 for the Bruins. 9:50 to go here in the first period. And there's no score. And they're going to spot the football right at the 50-yard line. So 1st and 10, and good field position for the Blacksburg Bruins here in the opening drive. Quarterback is going to be Gresh, and he's in the shotgun. Trip receivers to the left. Wide receiver to the right. In the backfield is Latrell Keys. Waiting for the snap from center. And Gresh now bounces at the signal. Takes the snap. There's the handoff to Keys. Goes over left tackle. Has a little bit of running room, and he's going to get to the 48-yard line. Picks up a couple of yards on the play. Tackle made by Jonathan Brewster from his linebacker spot. It's 2nd and 8 now for Blacksburg.
Yeah, I'm working on watching the interior line and see where the blocking comes from. They opened up a nice hole for him, but the linebackers from Graham filled that gap pretty well.
2nd down, a couple of substitutions in for the Bruins. David Bales in the lineup, also the tight end for Blacksburg, Aaron Barber. 2nd and 8 for Blacksburg now. At the Graham 48, Keys comes wide to the right, Holmes to the left, tight end to the right side. I formation in motion now. Keys from right to left. There's the handoff to Latrell. Keys over right tackle, has some running room, crosses the 45 down to the Graham 40-yard line, very close to the 1st down. And some nice running by Latrell Keys.
Yeah, he took out a couple of attempts to stop him. One went down, he hit another, they went down, he ran through them and got to a 3rd before the G-men could bring him down.
Lawrence Turner on the tackle along with the linebacker for the G-men. Brings up third down and short for Blacksburg. And they decide to go up under center once again. Two tights, I formation, Keys wide to the left. Opening quarter, 8:29 to go. Here's the handoff to Keys right up the middle. He goes across the 40 down to the 35, down to the 34-yard line. He picks up 7 yards on the carry. And the first first down now for Blacksburg in this game as they start a pretty good drive here, Harley.
Yeah, they're doing very well. They're doing what they need to do, is opening up the holes on the line to make room and get the ball straight up the middle.
Ball on the 34. Once again, Blacksburg starting out like they did last week. Twin receivers to the left and the right. Shotgun set is Gresh standing back at his own 39. In the backfield is Latrell Keys. The ball sitting on the right hash. He takes the snap. There's a keeper by Gresh as he fakes to Keys to the right. He goes to the left and gets the ball down to about the 35 and not back to the original line of scrimmage. He loses a yard. We'll call it 2nd and 11.
Yeah, that didn't fool the G-men at all. They saw that coming. And we're pretty much ready for that. Now they said the same thing 3 times.
Good read by Graham on that play. 2nd down and 11 for Blacksburg. 7:40 to go here in the first period. No score. Blacksburg on a drive. Gresh, the quarterback, back in the shotgun. Takes a snap. Throws it to the far side to Holmes. Holmes catches it at the 39. He moves across to the 35. Gets loose down to the 30-yard line where he's brought down right about the 29. So he picks up about 7 yards on the carry. We'll call it 3rd down and about 5.
G-men came with a blitz on that one. Didn't quite get to the quarterback. Good line play to hold them off. And that left some running room out on the left side. Because of their depleted ranks, they didn't have as many people to cover in the downfield.
Back in the lineup, Eric Hoff. He normally plays tight end. He's in the lineup, and yes, he'll line up a tight end. High formation, Holmes to the left, Keys to the right. Ball sitting on the left hash. Moving it from left to right here in Bill Brown Stadium. Ray Gresh, here comes a stunt. All that stunt by Graham. There's a pass over to Holmes, incomplete, in and out of his hands at the 23-yard line. It would have been close to a first down, but it's incomplete. It's 4th down.
Yeah, I don't think that even if he'd caught it, he would have stayed in bounds. It would have been. It was very close to the out-of-bounds marker on the opposite side.
So Caleb Violette will come in, and let's see if he's going to kick this. They're going to spot it right about the 37, so this is 47 yards officially. He hit it last week, Harley.
47 last week, and Coach said in one of the scrimmages before the season started, he was just barely wide right on a 54 yards, and he did make the 47 last week.
And here's the holder. And that is Josh Parcell. Waiting for the snap. It's down. Nope. If he fumbles the ball, he throws it out to the right side and heads it complete to Violette right about the 29-yard line. It's going to be very close to the first down. I could not tell if that was a fake or not, but he kind of bobbled the football and picked it up off the ground and came back out to the right side, threw it to Violette, and of course that's a call play. The guy says, fire, fire, fire. It is complete, but I think where the spot is, it may be short. If he's going to get it, it's right by the nose of the football.
They're going to have to measure. It is just across the 25-yard line, and they are bringing out the sticks to make the official measurement.
So here come the officials. And once again, we want to say congratulations once again to all the 2007 or the 1977 graduates of Blacksburg High School football as they are back here for a homecoming, so to speak.
It is a first down, but for the G-men.
Okay, so Graham will take it over, 1st and 10. The drive stall as Violet was going to kick a 47-yarder, but I think it was fumbled on the tee.
I think you're right. I think the ball wasn't handled cleanly.
So 1st and 10 for the G-men. The nose of the football sitting right on their own 25, moving from right to left. Nothing is the score. 6:35 to go here in the first period. Here's the receiver right to the left as Torrin Bird. In the wishbone set, we're going to see a little bit of everything. Tight end to the right. And here's Mars, the quarterback. Hands off to the scat back. Dominic Lane goes to the right side. He's going to be hit right at the line of scrimmage, and a host of Bruins are there to make the tackle. Right at the 25, 24-yard line. Maybe he might even lose about a half a yard on the play.
Yeah, the entire play, the whole Giles team was lined up on our side of the center field. So there was an incredible half the field on the other side that was open for the run, and that's where the run went to. But Blacksburg filled that very quickly.
2nd and 10 for the G-men. Here's their spread. Twin receivers to the right and the left. Mars, the quarterback, back in the pocket. Here come the Blacksburg Bruins on a blitz. Here's a pass across the middle, and it's complete to the big guy, to the running back, Ronnie Scott. And he's going to move the ball down to the 36-yard line, and it's a first down for the Graham G-men. A nice toss and catch from Mars to Ronnie Scott.
Yeah, they got rid of the ball pretty quickly on the Bruins blitz, and but to the Bruins' credit, they covered it quickly and got the receiver down.
We're going to find some pretty big guys in here. They're pretty stout, good weightlifters, as we understand. A very young football team, Graham is. And the shotgun now is Mars. Twin receivers to the left and the right. Back in the pocket is Mars. Throws it to the far side. Incomplete. And he was looking for Torian Bird. And the coverage on the play was by the outside linebacker for Blacksburg. And that was Eric Hoff on the cover.
It appeared that the Bruins rush was starting to get in. I was watching the line again, and they were starting to make a bit of a progress, and I think to rush the throw just a little bit.
So it brings up 2nd and 10. Graham not afraid to throw it. Twin receivers to the right and the left. Once again, Mars in the shotgun, standing back at his own 30. He takes a snap, spots his receiver, throws it to the far side, has it complete. Once again, throws it to Torin Bird. And he's going to get the ball to about the 37-yard line, just about 2 yards on the reception. So it brings up 3rd down and 8.
Yeah, I think they misspotted that one. They didn't give him forward progress. But again, again, the rush was getting to the Graham quarterback, and he rushed it a little bit. This time, though, it did make the completion.
5:10 to go here in the first period. No score. Blacksburg had an opportunity. Had the ball in the 50 and moved the ball down to the 29 to Graham, where they went for a field goal. Didn't get the first down on a kind of a mishandling of the snap. Here's Mars, the quarterback, back in the pocket, throws it to the near side. Here's the running back on the carry, Tyrus Barrios, and he moves the ball across the 40 down to the 42. Not enough for the first down. We'll call it 4th and 3, and Graham will punt it away.
Again, a deep penetration by Latrell Keys to get in toward the quarterback and make him rush that throw a little bit.
Once again, the all-purpose guy, David Mars, 5'11", 170-pound sophomore for Graham, will be punting it, standing back at his own 29. Deep for Blacksburg is Greg Keys, and he's standing back at his own 25. 4:25 to go, no score here in this non-district game for both teams. And waiting for the snap, Mars has it. Here's the kick. And it's a high spiral, and Keys is going to take it right about his 27. He fumbles the football, bobbles it, and I think Graham has it. They do. The G-men have it at the Blacksburg 27-yard line, and it looked like to me Keys started to run with it before he caught it.
I think partly he tried to run with it before he caught it, and partly, well, you're right, he didn't watch the ball all the way into his hands. He was thinking about where he was going instead of securing the football first. You got to take things in order. You got to get the ball, then you figure out where you're going to go.
So 1st and 10 for the G-men at the Blacksburg 27-yard line. 4:04 to go here. No score. And as we see it now, Graham able to throw the football a little bit. We'll see if Blacksburg's defensive backs don't tighten it up. We're going to take a timeout real quick. Take a 30-second break. Stay tuned. More coming up for Blacksburg High School football on Super Talk 101.7 FM.
Whether it's arts and culture, community events, great places to eat and shop, exciting athletics. You'll find it all in Blacksburg, the place to be.
So far in this game, Blacksburg right now with 26 yards of total offense, and Latrell Keys 3 carries for 16 yards. And Blacksburg on the defensive end stopped Graham here on this drive, and Graham punted it away, but Greg Keys fumbled it at the 27. So the G-men have it. Moving from right to left in Blacksburg territory. 4:04 to go here in the first period, no score. And once again, both teams with some pretty good size. I know Blacksburg faced a big Giles team last week, and it's a big Graham team this week.
And one of the things that's different about the Graham team versus Giles is, as you said, Graham is not afraid to throw the ball. They're coming out and they are throwing the ball, which I think there were only 4 or 5 passes in the first half for Giles last week.
Very, very young Graham football team. Split backs. Here's the quarterback under center is Mars. Handoff goes to the big fullback, and that's Ronnie Scott. Goes over right tackle, picks up maybe a couple of yards on the carry. On the tackle for Blacksburg was Adam Siegel, the defensive end, so it brings up second down. Let's see where they spot it. Right about to the line of scrimmage, so let's see.
Yeah, number 6 was in on that as well. Of course, that would be Tyler Holmes riding the player to the ground as well.
So they're going to spot it right inside the 25 down to the 23, so it's second down and 6 for Graham. Here's Torrin Bird wide to the left. Tight end to the right. Now split backs, kind of the wing T set. Here's a handoff, goes to the running back, and that is Tyler Barreras, the 6 feet, 230-pounder, goes right up the middle. He picks up enough for a first down as he moves the ball down to the 14-yard line.
And Joey Phillips is the one that undercut him to help get him to the ground to make the initial contact to bring him down.
So Graham threatening here in the first period. And they're a pretty good-looking running team, and looks like they're a pretty good-looking pass team. Not a team that you would think 0-2 coming into this game.
Not from
that much damage at this
Not from what we've seen so far. I agree with you.
Okay, Mars. Clock is running. 3:20 to go here in the first period.
But I wonder, John, if that's some of the letdown from Blacksburg, too, as well, from last week's 6 overtimes.
Very well could be, Harley. Bird comes wide to the left. Here's the quarterback, Morris. Hands off to the running back, and that's going to be Jonathan Brewster. The 170-pounder goes over right tackle, picks up maybe a yard.
And Tyler Holmes slices through to make the tackle.
Tyler comes from that middle linebacker spot.
And I do mean slice.
190-pounder.
I do mean slice. He just tore right through. That's one where the G-men did not have that gap filled.
So we'll say he'll pick up 2 yards on the carry. They move the ball down to the 12. Second and 8. Mars, the quarterback, under center. 2 tight ends, wing back to the left. Now the fullback steps up to the wing. Here's a single setback for Graham. And the handoff goes to the single setback. That's Ferreras. The 230-pounder goes up right to the middle of the line. Moves the ball down to the 10. And picks up maybe 2. So third down and 6.
Bruins are in that 5-3 defense. 5 offensive linemen and the 3 middle linebackers. Kind of a meet the runner at the middle and take him down. Just limited to a couple of yards.
Gap defense, and I know that's what Vaughn Phipps said he's probably going to have to do against this running game is gap it up. All right, third down and 6 now for the G-men here in this drive as they sit on the Blacksburg 12. Mars, the quarterback, back in the shotgun, rolls out to his left, looking for a receiver, and flags come down, and I believe, let's see if that's going to be a legal procedure against the G-men. If so, that will be the first mistake by either team tonight.
Yeah, the first penalty of the game.
Yep, thought I saw some movement, so backing up 5 yards. Instead of third and 6, now it becomes third and 11.
And one of the points Coach talked about in the interview was that on third down, he wants to hold them on third down, especially third and long, so that the G-men can't make anything out of it. But holding on third down was a key for Coach Chris this week.
Okay, here come the G-men. 1:57 to go. Clock is moving here in the first period. No score. There's the wishbone set. 2 tight ends. Mars, the quarterback, under center. There's a play action. Back in the pocket. Throws it to a wide open receiver in the end zone. Touchdown, Graham. J.K. Goins, the 6'2", 285-pounder, catches it for 6 points. So with 1:46 to go here in the first period, Graham goes up 6-0.
Faked the handoff and fooled most of the Bruins because they left the receiver wide open in the end zone.
You know, when you run the wishbone, and you have 2 tight ends and everybody's in close, and that little play action, because it looks like a run, it sets up a beautiful, beautiful play. He was wide open.
He was wide open.
All right, an extra point attempt now for the Graham G-men is going to be by Jonathan Brewster. Excuse me, by number 21, it's going to be Tyler Barreras, the big running back. And he's a straight-on kicker. There's the snap. The kick is up, and it's going to go through, and it's going to be good, and it barely went through. I think it was tipped at the line of scrimmage by Greg Keys, but
I think it was partially tipped, and it just barely cleared the crossbar.
So with 1:46 to go here in the first period, the score, Graham 7, Blacksburg nothing. Let's pause. And you're listening to Blacksburg High School football on Super Talk 101.7 FM. So Graham scores off a Blacksburg turnover, and so with 1:46 to go, the G-men lead 7-0, and they'll be kicking it off once again from right to left. And deep for Blacksburg with Latrell Keys standing back at his own 5. Greg Keys back there, along with Link Spencer. Here's the kick, a high kick, a short kick taken by Spencer at the 23, crosses the 25, has a lane to the right side. He's going down the sidelines to the 40, down to the 50, down to the Graham 43-yard line where he's brought down on a touchdown-saving tackle by Tanner Howe. So it's going to be 1st and 10 for the Bruins at the Graham 42-yard line.
That was obviously a design play, although it's a short kick. This return set up to the right side, and everybody did very well to get their blocks. Can't do a lot better than that. You're right, one tackle, one touchdown saving tackle. He was all the way for 6.
So here come the Bruins up to the line, and see what Trey Gresh has in store for this Bruins offense now. Wide to the left goes Tyler Holmes. Keys wide to the right. And now the official wants to take a timeout. And
looks like an equipment timeout for the G-men.
Yeah, somebody has to tie their shoes. So.
Yes.
Remember the old shoestring play? Of course, the offense did that. I don't know how the defense does a shoestring play. But, all right, here we go. Blacksburg with the football in motion now. From right to left comes Keys. Here's a fake. And here's Trey Gresh, throws it right down the middle. Wide open is Tyler Holmes. He has it. Touchdown, Blacksburg. Gresh to Tyler Holmes, a wide open Holmes for 43 yards, a TD with 1:30 to go here in the first period. It's 7-6.
You know, that strikes me as you can do it, so can we. It strikes me as we're making a statement. We're not going to lie down. Blacksburg is standing up, and they're going to take the G-men for everything they can. That was an outstanding play. It was very similar to what the G-men just did to get their touchdown. Looked like a run, wide open down the center of the field, completion.
Oh, what a nice touch that Trey Gresh put on that ball. Here's Violet now for the extra point. He's got to tie it up. And there's the snap. The kick is up, and it's blocked by Graham. So, the score is going to stay 7-6 in favor of the G-men. We're going to pause and hear this word on Blacksburg High School football on Super Talk 101.7 FM.
Missed the last town council meeting? Need to know what was on the agenda? How did the members vote? Now you can have access to town happenings 24 hours a day at www.blacksburg.gov. Click on Online Video and choose the meeting you want to watch. And there is more than just town council meetings. You can see other WTOB shows like Energy, the Historic Lecture Series, and Dodgeball. Just go to your computer and log on to www.blacksburg.gov and click on Online Video. Just one more way WTOB is your Blacksburg Community Access Station.
That's all it takes. One play. 43 yards from Gresh to Tyler Holmes.
Well, and a really good return. And not only did Trey put a nice touch on that ball, but you could see Tyler Holmes. He was, he stepped out and started running, and then he saw where the ball was, and the afterburners kicked in, and he took it off.
Here's Violet's kick, high end over end kick. It's going to be taken by Brewster back at the 3, crosses the 5 to the 10 to the 15. He moves the ball right down to the 20-yard line where he's hit by a host of Bruins. And out of the bottom of the pile comes Blacksburg's Adam Seeger. So Adam making some pretty big plays here tonight.
So far for the 2 kickoff returns we've seen for the G-men, they've done the same thing both times. They're catch it and run right toward the center, and they're trying to form a wedge to break through the defense. But Blacksburg has been too strong for them both times.
1st and 10 for the G-men now on their own 20. The spread offense, twin receivers to the right and the left. Mars, the quarterback, takes the snap. Looks to the near side, scrambles out. He's going to be hit back behind the line of scrimmage, and on the stunt was Brandon Brocken, the middle linebacker for Blacksburg, makes a big play.
They were getting closer, and they were getting closer, and they were rushing him last time. Now, I don't. If Greg Keys hadn't fumbled the punt, Graham never would have been in position to score because Blacksburg's defense has done very well to keep them to just a couple of yards, 5, 6 sometimes on every defensive play. That one even better, knock them backwards.
2nd and 15 for the G-men. They had the ball on their own 15-yard line, moving from right to left. Wide receivers to the left and one receiver to the right, split backs. There's the quarterback handing off to the big running back up the middle, and it's going to be no gain. And Tackle made by Tyler Holmes once again, so it brings up 3rd down and long now for the G-men.
Yeah, Tyler Holmes with Devin Skinner.
So with 20 seconds to go here in the first period, Graham leads this 7-6. And Graham scoring off a Blacksburg error as they went in 5 plays, 27 yards for a touchdown. All right, here we go. 3rd and long now for the Graham G-men. 2 receivers to the left, tight ends to the right, split backs, and quarterback is Mars under center, and the whistles blow their whistles. And that's the end of the first quarter. So with the score, Graham 7, Blacksburg 6. Let's pause and hear these words right here on Blacksburg High School football on Super Talk 101.7 FM.
So we've done some things where he jumps off from the side. We've done some things passing him back and forth. We've done some activities where he floats on his back and on his stomach. I think swimming is a fun thing you can do with your kid. And I think it's good for kids to learn about being in the water.
The Water Babies class is one of the many classes that the Blacksburg Parks and Rec Department has to offer for you and your child. Call 961-1135 or visit www.blacksburg.gov/recreation.
So the stats for the first quarter, Blacksburg with 69 total yards, 54 of it coming through the air, 15 on the ground, and for Graham 45 yards of total offense, 34 of it in the receiving department, 11 of it on the rushing end. So both teams doing a pretty good, defensively on the ground, I guess so.
Yeah, they've been holding them on the rush pretty well. And the bigger plays are coming through the air. The 1 Graham pass to the end zone for the touchdown, and the I'll first say the punt return or the kickoff return. No, it was a punt return, and then the pass from Trey to Tyler Holmes for the Blacksburg score.
So it's 3rd down and long. We're going to call it 16 here at the beginning of the second period for the Graham G-men. Receivers to the right, that's Bird, and then the slot is Dominic Lane. Here's the quarterback, Mars, back in the pocket. Throws it right across the middle, and it's almost intercepted, and the receiver wasn't even looking for it. And on the coverage for Blacksburg was Josh Reynolds, and it brings up 4th down, and now the G-men will put it away.
You know why the receiver wasn't looking for it? Because the quarterback had to rush his throw again because Joey Phillips was almost in there and on him.
Good rush from the Blacksburg defensive line on that play. So Graham once again will punt it away. Mars kicking up from left to right. And standing back at his own 49-yard line is Greg Keys. Blacksburg with 9 men up on the line of scrimmage. There's the snap. Here's the kick. Almost blocked, but a nice kick by Mars, and it's going to hit out of bounds about the 44-yard line of Graham. So Blacksburg will take it over 1st and 10. Once again, great position here at the beginning of the second period.
Yeah, very good.
So the Bruins will take it over.
It's kind of a kick off the side of his foot and angled right toward the out-of-bounds side.
A great defensive stand for the Bruins on that series, and I know Vaughn Phipps is happy. Getting some good plays and good intensity from the defense here on that last series of plays. So Dave Chris now having the offense here on the sideline talking to these guys, and I'm not so sure that he won't want to make a quick strike again. We'll see.
I'm sure the crowd would enjoy that. But one of the other things that Coach Chris talked about in defeating Graham was to keep the ball longer. So probably see some retuning of the running play and of the offensive line scheme to get a little bit more running opportunities.
1st and 10 for the Bruins. They switch up some receivers. Wide to the left comes Wade. To the right is Keys. And the shotgun is the quarterback, Gresh, hands off to Latrell Keys up the middle. He gets a couple on the play, moves the ball down to the 40. We'll call it 3 on the carry, 2nd and 7. And several Graham players were there on the tackle, including their middle linebacker, Lawrence Turner.
Yeah, and as the play developed, as the Trey made the handoff, there were a couple of unblocked Graham players coming in from the right, or from the left, no, it was the right side, from the right side, and they just didn't get there because they ran past the play because it was going up the middle.
Hoff comes in for Aaron Barber at tight end, so wide to the left comes Jordan Wade. Here's the I formation, receivers to the right, tight end to the right. In motion from right to left comes Greg Keys. Here's the quarterback, Gresh, play action, back in the pocket. Looking for a receiver down the left side, and it's going to be complete to Greg Keys, right through the hands of Mars. And Keys had great concentration, pulled it in, down at the Graham 7-yard line. A nice pass by Trey Gresh, and a nice completion.
Trey Gresh took a whack after that. Right as he threw the ball, he was hit by Graham, and of course on the reception, just an incredible concentration right through the hands of the defender and into the hands of Greg Keys.
34 yards on that reception, so it's first and goal for Blacksburg. 11:01 to go here in the second period. Tight end to the right, wing back to the right. Single setback is Keys. Here's the quarterback. Under center is Trey Gresh. Wide receivers to the right. Gresh now hands off to Latrell Keys. Goes over right tackle. Has some running room. He's going to scoot into the end zone. Touchdown Blacksburg. And Latrell Keys bounced it inside. Saw the holes a little bit plugged up. Bounced to the outside. And he runs in untouched for a touchdown. And Blacksburg goes up 12-7 with 10:54 to go here in the second period.
That's one of the other things that Coach Chris was talking about the vision of the running back of Latrell Keys to see where the hole is. If it's not there, to make the adjustments, to follow his keys and get to where the hole is. This time the hole happened to be to the outside and just beat the defender to the corner of the end zone.
So Caleb Violette will attempt the extra point. The last one was blocked. And I'm sure that Dave Chris and the special teams had a little bit of a talk about that. Here the last time. All right, here's the snap. It's down. The kick is up, and it's going to sail through. It's going to be good. So with the score, Blacksburg 13, Graham 7. 10:54 to go here in the second period. We're going to pause and hear these words on Super Talk 101.7 FM.
Okay, we've got 2 8 o'clocks and then 8:30. I'm on my way. Have I forgotten anything? Of course I haven't forgotten anything. Are you nuts? A little bit more professional than that. There's just not enough hours in the day.
You know, there's easier ways to get internet on the go. Select Blacksburg Transit buses now offer free Wi-Fi wireless internet to facilitate all of your online needs. Just look for the Wi-Fi sign. Blacksburg Transit. Take a ride on the Information Superhighway.
44 yards on 3 plays, and Blacksburg goes in for 6 points on a 7-yard run by Latrell Keys. 10:54 to go here in the second period. Blacksburg up 13-7 on the Grand G-Men. And Violet kicking it off from right to left. There's the kick. It's a spiral back into the end zone, and it's going to go as a touchback, so Graham will take it over 1st and 10. And if you're Doug Marr, the head coach, you got to be thinking right now, only down by a touchdown, you played pretty well up to this point. You got to be thinking now, let's get a little bit of ball control here.
Yeah, that's exactly what he is going to be thinking. He wants to make sure he gets the runs, make sure he opens some gaps so he can get the runs up the middle or over each side to advance the ball and take some time off this clock.
So 1st and 10 now for the Graham G-Men at their own 20. Quarterback is Mars under center, twin receivers to the left, one to the right, and there's the running back up the middle as the fumble on the play, and let's see, does Blacksburg have it? We will see. The officials aren't saying at this moment. Blacksburg kids say they got it, but I think Graham says they recovered it. So 2nd down and 10.
2nd down.
It was laying on the ground, and I thought the Blacksburg defensive lineman had it. So 2nd and 10 now for the Graham G-Men. Not what Coach Mars wanted at this point right now. 10:22 to go, down 13-7 his Graham G-Men are. 2 tight ends, split backs. Mars the quarterback under center. Back in the pocket on play action. Throws it down the left side, has it complete to a wide open receiver, and that's Jonathan Brewster. And Brewster carries the ball down to the 36-yard line. And Brewster picks up 16 on the play, so it's 1st and 10 now for Graham. A nice toss and catch.
Yeah, before the play, Greg Keys was looking over to the sideline, just had this perplexed body language going on. We're not sure what we're supposed to be doing here, Coach. And it looked like Graham could take advantage of a little bit of confusion on the Blacksburg defense.
So a nice pass from the quarterback Mars to the wide receiver, or the back coming out of the backfield, Brewster. All right, 1st and 10 at the Blacksburg, at the Graham 36. Here's Mars, hands off to the running back out of the backfield, and I believe that's going to be Aaron Davidson as he picks up nothing on the play, and Blacksburg stuffs it at the line of scrimmage.
Strung it out very well, and never gave him the gap to shoot up through.
Tyler Holmes there on the tackle, and I believe along with Adam Siegel, so it brings up 2nd down and 9. He may have picked up maybe a yard on the play. 9:42 to go here in the second period. 13-7, Blacksburg up.
I think the announcer calling it 2nd and 9 is generous. I think he got maybe half a yard.
All right, here we go. They spot the ball right about the 37-yard line. And the shotgun is David Mars, the quarterback, a sophomore. Looks for a receiver now. He takes it up. He's going to run it up the far side. Has some running room. Moves the ball down to the 45 where he's knocked out of bounds by Robert Sterrett, I believe it is, on the tackle for Blacksburg. Or no, it was Josh Reynolds there. So he's very close to the first. And once again, the officials making the spot. He's about a yard short. So it's 3rd down and 1 for the G-men. The ball sitting right about the 45 and a half, we'll call it. And another big 3rd and short situation now for the Blacksburg Bruins. We'll see if they can't stuff them here. Wide receivers to the left. Short flanker to the right. No backs in the backfield. Here's Mars, the quarterback, on a quarterback sneak, and he's going to be hit back behind the line of scrimmage depending on where the forward progress is, and he's knocked back to the 45-yard line as Blacksburg brought 5 players through 3 gaps right over the center and made the play.
They knocked him back to basically the opposite side of the 45. It was at the 45 and maybe a half. Now it's the other side on the Graham 40, about half yard back toward the Graham end zone.
So a nice play by the Blacksburg interior line. Bo Gentry in the middle of that, along with Tyler Holmes, the middle linebacker. All right, so Graham will punt it away from left to right. Key standing back at his own 21. 8:45 to go. Blacksburg up 13-7. There's a kick by Mars. It's going to be a short kick, and it's going to hit right about the 21-yard line. Here's Keys at the far side. He's going to be brought down right about the 30 and about the 31. So Blacksburg will take it over 1st and 10. And on the coverage for the G-men with Jonathan Brewster. So once again, Dave Christ and his Blacksburg offense now have another opportunity to put some points on the board. So far, Blacksburg 113 yards of total offense, 87 of that coming through the air, 26 on the ground. I want to thank Steve Fortner for a great job as he put a program together during the course of the week, and it's so easy to follow, my friend. It's a great job. Great job. 1st and 10 for Blacksburg at the 31. Wide receivers to the left, I formation, and just waiting for the official to start the clock, and we'll begin play. And Gresh, the quarterback, backs out talking to his lineman as the officials are waiting to start the clock, and here we go. Gresh, the quarterback, under center, the ball sitting on the right hash. In the eye, the handoff comes to Latrell Keys. He goes over left tackle. He escapes a tackler and moves the ball across the 40 down to the 43, and 11 yards on that carry for Latrell Keys, and a 1st down for the Bruins. Nice blocking up front. Nice blocking up front, and created a nice lane for him to get up, and took him well into the secondary for the G-men to make the stop. So Blacksburg once again bringing us some substitutions. Hoff in the lineup. Jordan Wade back in there. And the tight end for Blacksburg, Reese Whitsitt. In the eye, here comes the motion from right to left is Jordan Wade. Here's the quarterback. Gresh hands over the ball off to Keys. He goes right up the middle on the isolation play, moves the ball to about the 45. He picks up about 1.5 yards on the play. We'll call it 2nd down and a very, very long 8. But again, into the secondary before the stop was made it pretty cleanly through the line. So the offensive line is doing a pretty good job opening up the holes for the running backs. 7:50 to go here in the second period. 13-7. Blacksburg leading the Graham G-men, a non-district contest, as Blacksburg will travel to Liberty High School next week. In the shotgun is Trey Gresh standing back at his 40. Twin receivers, trip receivers to the right. Here's Gresh on the keeper, goes up the middle, has some running room, crosses the midfield stripe, and he's going to be hit right about the 49-yard line where they're going to stop it right there. So Gresh picks up about 7 yards on the carry. It's going to be 3rd down and 2, but they spread the offense out to spread the defense, and they ran a quarterback draw. Yeah, and there was one, I didn't catch these numbers, G-men coming in from their left side and just picked off cleanly by one of the Bruins to make sure that the hole for Trey was there, and Trey hit that hole seconds later, less than seconds later. 3rd and 2 inside Graham territory, right about the 48-yard line. Holmes goes wide to the right, 2 tight ends, I formation. Latrell Keys is the running back. Here's Gresh, hands off to Keys. Goes over right tackle, has some running room, scoots across the 40 down to the 35, stays on his feet out of bounds. And the tackle on the far side of the field, and a flag is down, but tackle was made by Jonathan Brewster, so let's see if they bring this play back. I think the flag down went before the snap. Officials are discussing it.
If I were to guess, I think it was offsides on the G-men, but they are...
That's what I thought.
Because normally they will stop the play if it's on the offense. And they didn't stop the play, he just threw the flag.
So it's against Blacksburg.
But it is against Blacksburg.
So instead of 3rd and 2, it's now 3rd and 7. And he was either lined up in the neutral zone, as they call it, or it could have been illegal procedure. We'll see.
Right, maybe not enough men on the line.
So the official comes out, and yes, illegal procedure. So it brings up 3rd and 7. And Latrell Keys picked up some big yardage on that play as well, so that hurt. In the lineup for Blacksburg, in the offensive line, comes Dustin Price as Nathan Hopkins comes out. Dustin, a 5'9", 200-pounder, giving Hopkins a break. And here come the Bruins. 3rd down and 7. 6:37 to go here in the second period. 13-7 Blacksburg leading. Here's Gresh, the quarterback. In the shotgun, takes the snap, rolls out to his right. Now comes back to the near side, goes up the middle, has a little bit of running room. Crosses the 45, down to the 50, down to the 45. He's going to run out of bounds at the Graham 43-yard line, and it's going to be enough for a first down to Trey Gresh for some big yardage. We'll call it 11 yards, so another first for the Bruins.
And it wasn't designed. That was a breakdown in the protection. He saw it coming. He was able to escape the initial rush, and then straight-armed one of the other defenders to get a few extra yards, and almost picked up a late hit out of bounds penalty for Graham too, but they backed off just enough.
So a nice play by Trey Gresh, and if I can get Steve's official stat on that carry, 12 yards. So 1st and 10 for Blacksburg. Inside Graham territory at their 42 is what he spotted. Gresh back in the pocket. Throws it deep down the right side. He has Tyler Holmes open, and Holmes has it and tips up right off the 7-yard line. A nice throwing catch from Trey Gresh to Tyler Holmes. Perfectly timed, and that was almost 6.
Well practiced, and Trey led him just half a step too far. Tyler Holmes made the diving catch for the ball, and that's what took him down before the G-men got there, was his own momentum of diving for the ball.
So we're going to say 35 yards on that reception, and it's 1st and goal now for the Bruins on the Graham 7-yard line. So we're going to take this timeout and pause for these words right here on Blacksburg High School football on Super Talk 101.7 FM. So 35 yards from Gresh to Tyler Holmes, and it's 1st and goal for Blacksburg inside the Graham 10. So they're going to spot it right about the 7-yard line, which would make it 33 yards. So is that right, Steve? 33 yards? 37 yards. Excuse me, 37 yards. We're graduates of Blacksburg High School, so we got to get this right. We're embarrassing our alumni out here.
It was a long time ago, though. Right?
That's right. A long time since I've been doing the gazindas and all that. All right, here we go. 1st and goal for Blacksburg. I formation. Tight end to the right. Jordan Wade, the wide receiver, to the left. And here's Gresh, the quarterback. Hands off the Keys over left. Tackle has it running in. He goes in untouched. Touchdown, Blacksburg.
And went in untouched. There was the line did an outstanding job opening up that hole. There was nobody to touch Latrell Keys on his way to the end zone.
So with 6:12 to go here in the second period, Blacksburg goes up 19-7. And a nice hole opened up there by the offensive line, and so Latrell Keys for another touchdown on the night. And here's the extra point attempt by Violet. And waiting for the snap from center. Nice crowd here tonight as they honor the 1977 state championship football team from 30 years ago. Here's the snap. It's down to kick us up, and it's going to be good right through. So with the score, Blacksburg 20 and Graham 7. Let's pause and hear these words. Let's take a 60-second timeout right here on Super Talk 101.7 FM.
What have we learned, buddy? We've learned to get Michael's face wet, float on his back, it splashes on his face. I would recommend this class for other people because Michael really enjoys it. and it's really taught him a lot about getting into the water and feeling very comfortable in the water.
The Water Babies class is one of the many classes that the Blacksburg Parks and Rec Department has to offer for you and your child. Call 961-1135 or visit www.blacksburg.gov/recreation.
There's been so many things that held us down, but now it looks like things are finally coming around. No stopping, no stopping, no stopping, no stopping, no stopping, no stopping, no stopping.
With 6:12 in the second period, and Latrell Keys goes over from 7 yards to make it 20-7. The Blacksburg Bruins up on the Graham G-men. Here's some high school football here on a Friday night from Bill Brown Stadium in Blacksburg. And Violet will be kicking it off from right to left. From east to west, there's the kickoff, high end over end kick, and it's going to sail right about the goal line. It's going to go across the goal line, so that's an automatic touchback. So Graham will have it 1st and 10 at their own 20. You know, we've seen D1 kickers here for the last 2 weekends. Violet hadn't lit up, has he?
No, he hasn't. He's an outstanding job. Last week's, our player of the game last week for the plaque from Fast Signs in Blacksburg. And remember, guys, we got to do that again this week. We got to figure out who's doing the.
Can we do everybody out there?
No, unless you want to
carve it up,
make the difference on the.
Okay, here come the G-men to the line. 1st and 10 at their own 20. Mars, the quarterback, back into pocket, throws it across the middle, has it complete, and he hits his receiver. And that is J.K. Goins right about the 31-yard line, so he picks up 11 on the play. 1st and 10, and clock moving 5:58 to go.
They did let him get open, but as soon as he caught the ball, there were 3 Bruins around him and did not give him any yards after the catch.
Once again, 1st and 10 for Graham. 0-2 coming into this ball game. A loss to Beaver High in the first game. A loss to Christiansburg 34-14 last week. Mars, the quarterback, gets some pressure, rolls out to the near side. He crosses the 30 down to the 35, and a nice overfield tackle made by Blacksburg's number 9, Joey Phillips. So a nice play.
He had to contain. He made sure the quarterback, who was flush from the pocket, didn't get downfield very far. He had to contain, and he took that responsibility seriously. It's all about what Coach was saying earlier, what we've talked about, each member of the team doing their job and being in the right place and not following the ball, but making sure that they're in the position to make the play should it reverse and come their direction.
Mars picking up 3, so it's 2nd and 7. Clock is rolling. 5 minutes to go here till halftime. Back in the pocket goes the quarterback, Mars. Here's a screen up the middle. It's going to be dropped, and Tyler Barreras, the big fullback, had it thrown to him right in his hands. They had a beautiful screen set up, so it brings up 3rd down and 7. And Blacksburg once again has an opportunity maybe to get the ball back.
Blacksburg had 4 or 5 rushers directly at the quarterback because the front line had let them go and were all ready to blaze a trail for the running back. He just didn't hang on to the ball. Again, he was thinking about what he was going to do before he put the ball away and made sure he had the completion.
Nicely executed, except he didn't catch it.
Except he didn't catch it. Right.
All right, here we go. 3rd down and 7 for Graham. Blacksburg leading at 20-7. In the shotgun now is Mars, the sophomore quarterback. Trip receivers to the left. Mars rolls to his left, back in the pocket, throws it across the middle, almost intercepted. And I believe it was tipped by Holmes. And Robert Sterrett was there as the defender, so it brings up 4th down, and Graham will punt it away.
Bruins were on a blitz again, and Tyler Holmes, of course, came around the receiver to reach in and avoid the pass interference penalty and tip that ball away.
Greg Key standing back at his own 30. Mars, the versatile athlete for Graham, the quarterback as well as the punter. Stand back is at his own 23-yard line, waiting for the snap. 4:50 to go here in the second period. Here's the kick. And it's partially blocked at the line of scrimmage, and the ball's going to hit across the 50 down inside the Blacksburg 45 down to the 44-yard line, but a good rush put on by the Bruins, and as they tipped it, the kick was officially, 17 yards, I believe so. Blacksburg will take it over 1st and 10 with 4:42 to go here in the second period.
They've been going after it most of the night and finally got through to get that one tip, and I'm sure that will continue. I mean, this is Blacksburg, home of Beamer ball, and that's a specialty. One of the things that Coach also talked about, it was all three phases of the game, the offense, the defense, and to make sure that the special teams performs well in every game as well.
So here we go, 1st and 10 for Blacksburg, sitting on the left hash. I formation moving from right to left. There's the quarterback back in the pocket, throws it to the far side, has it complete to his running back out of the backfield. That's David Bales, and he moves the ball across the midfield stripe, down to the Graham 48, very close to the first down. So we're going to call it 2nd down and about 1. So a nice toss and catch from the quarterback Gresh to the running back for Blacksburg.
And it's nice to change. It's nice to change it up once in a while and use David Bales and keep the other team, instead of keying in on just Greg Keys, Latrell Keys, and Tyler Holmes, that they can also worry about some of the other players who work so well with the receivers that Troy uses most of the time.
At halftime, we'll have a couple of the 1977 state champion guys up here talking about that year. Here's a handoff to Keys up the middle. He's going to pick up the first as he moves the ball across the 45 down to the Graham 44. So a 4-yard carry by Latrell Keys. With 4:29 to go, Blacksburg leading 20-7, and I know that Dave Chris is thinking about we need some more points on the board before halftime.
Yeah, with I'm sure what happened last week is sure top of mind, or a concern. I'm sure that with practice he knows how the players reacted. He said they didn't overreact. They took it in stride. They knew what they wanted, a better outcome, of course, last week, but they knew what they had to do this week, and are setting out to do it.
A couple of changes in the Blacksburg offense now. Woodell, the wide receiver. Trent Woodell, 6'3", 190-pounder. Here's Gresh, the quarterback, back in the pocket. Throws it down the middle. Has it complete to Tyler Holmes. A nice catch, and he carries the ball down to the 29-yard line. So a nice toss and catch once again from the quarterback to the receiver.
And it starts with protection. Good protection for Trey so that he had time to look down the field and find Tyler Holmes.
15 yards on that reception. And Tyler Holmes Trey Gresh at this point is 6 of 7 for 146 yards. Here come the Bruins now, 4:03 to go. A 13-point lead on the Graham G-Men. Here's the spread offense, receivers to the left and the right. Single set back is Latrell Keys. Here's a handoff to Keys up the gut. He goes. He's going to be hit right about the 31. Flags go down. The tackle was made by one of the middle linebackers, Jonathan Brewster, there.
And the flag from the umpire usually indicates holding. Not always the case, but that's usually what it is. This time it's a chop block.
Okay, so block below the waist, and that's a 15-yarder, if I'm not mistaken, in high school football, I believe.
And this is kind of what happened last week. You started to move the ball, and you got a penalty that set you back. And that happened a few times, especially in the second quarter, second half of last week's game against Giles.
So I'm trying to think right now. It is from the line of scrimmage. So back it up 15. It's now 1st down and 25, and that moves the ball back to the 44, and that hurts. But you're sitting there thinking now, is he going to throw the long pass on this play? 1st down, you might as well.
Well, 1st down, yeah, but you still need the 1st down so you can get into scoring position into the red zone. So you'll take the 3 plays to make sure that happens.
Trip receivers to the right, wide receiver to the left. Here's Gresh, the quarterback, back in the pocket. Rolls out to his left. He's flushed out. He has a little bit of run. Ring flags go down. He crosses the 40. Down to the Graham 37-yard line, and I believe it's going to be holding once again against Blacksburg as they are bringing it back.
Yep, another flag from the umpire. And the umpire is the position right behind the defensive line.
So the Graham G-men up front are doing some things that are confusing the Blacksburg line. It looked like they did a crisscross between the defensive end and the defensive tackle, and the offensive tackle went after the wrong guy and tried to grab him. And
yeah, this was
holding.
Well, this wasn't holding. This was face mask against Graham.
Yep. Oh, this is against Graham. Okay.
Yeah, this is face mask Graham. I don't believe he indicated personal foul, so it's probably the. I guess it's 5 yards in high school as well, and it looks like they're moving back to 15.
Okay, so here we go. They're going to mark it from the spot of the foul, and that was the 37-yard line. So this was, it looked like to me, from the end of the play. So it moves the ball down to the 32. But I thought the flag was flown there at the beginning of the play. Anyway, I'm a little bit confused, but it's a 1st down, automatic 1st down for Blacksburg once again, 1st and 12.
It's an automatic. Okay, so if it's an automatic first down, they didn't move the sticks. They still need to make their original line to go, but they get 4 downs again to try it in.
All right, here we go. Blacksburg sitting on the left hash. 3:32 to go here in the second period. Bruins up 20-7. Kind of a strange set of events there. Here's twin receivers to the left. Gresh, the quarterback, now throws out to the right side. He has Jordan Wade. Wade has some running room. Crosses the 25 down to the 20. He's going to move the ball inside the 20 down to the 18-yard line. So Jordan Wade on the reception. Just a nice little floater out in the flats, and so a nice toss and catch by Gresh to Jordan Wade for the first down.
Looks like we have a Blacksburg player down over on the far side.
14. So number 14 is Jordan Wade as he got hit right below the waist as he was tackled out of bounds. But he picked up enough for the first, so I think that was 16 yards on the reception, Steve.
I'm not sure whether it was 5.
Yeah, it is Wade who is down.
So, with 3:18 to go here in the second period, let's take this 30-second timeout with the score of Blacksburg 20, Graham 7. Let's pause and hear these words on Super Talk 101.7 FM.
Oh, no. Pain. Oh, is that my heart? My heart. My heart? No. It'll pass. 911. Could call 911. No. Ambulance. Couldn't do that. Sirens. Neighbors rushing over. Embarrassing. Too embarrassing. Maybe I'll feel better later. Oh.
Some people would rather die than call an ambulance. So that's exactly what they do.
So the Bruins once again threatening here with 3:18 to go here in the second period. They're up by 13 points over Graham, 20-7, and Jordan Wayne hobbles off the field as he was hit on the far side of the field after a nice 16-yard reception and run.
Yeah, he's putting absolutely no pressure on his right ankle, and he's being helped off the field.
First and 10 now for the Bruins at the 16-yard line. Gresh, the quarterback, in motion from left to right, comes home. I formation. Tight ends both on the right and the left. And the handoff goes to Latrell Keys over right tackle. Has some running room. He's going to move the ball across the 5. Down inside the 10-yard line down to about the 6-yard line. So very close to the first. A nice run by Latrell Keys. Once again hitting that tackle, hitting that little gap between the guard and the tackle and scooting to the outside. Nice running.
And that's exactly what they're doing. Coach talked about gaps, and that's the gap that the line opened up for him. He saw it, he took it, and got a really good run out of it.
So he does pick up the first, so it's first and goal. Let's see. No. No, they're measuring it now. From where I sit, he got it, but I've got like 2,200 eyesight in it.
As for Jordan Wade, it looks like they're trying to look at his knee, his right knee.
So Keys picked up the first down. And they spot the ball right inside the 6-yard line, so we're going to call it right about the 5.5. 2:47 to go. Clock is moving. Bruins with the football with a 13-point lead. Wide receiver to the left is Tyler Holmes. In the I formation now, Trey Gresh under center, the quarterback, and he's going to hand off the Keys up the gut. He goes. He gets close to the goal line. He's going to be knocked down right about the 1.
Yeah, he's very close. I'll give you right about the 1.
And on the tackle was Ronnie Scott from his outside linebacker spot. So it's second down. We'll call it very, very short inches for a TD. So the Blacksburg offense once again putting points on the board in the first half, as they did last week. You know, and Harley, as we said at the beginning of the show, they're going to have to play 4 quarters to win this game. There's the quarterback, Gresh under center. And off goes to Keys up the gut. He's going to go in. Touchdown, Blacksburg. So with 1:57 to go here in the second period, the Bruins go up 26-7. And that drive went 56 yards on 10 plays. So another nice drive by the Bruins.
Well done. Nice mix of run and pass to keep the G-men off guard, and the final run straight up the middle to get the touchdown for the Latrell Keys.
You know, I feel like in this press box, I've played already 10 overtimes. Good gracious. It's cooled off a little bit. It was a hot day in Blacksburg.
I think you're being generous. It's still pretty humid.
And here's the extra point attempt by Violet, and Blacksburg is trying to get Greg Keys to come in here. They don't have 11 men on the field, and here we go. So Keys comes into the lineup as one of the blockers, and Violet will kick the extra point. And here's the snap. It's down. The kick is up, and it's going to go through. It's going to be good. We're going to take a timeout. The score, Blacksburg 26, Graham 7. Let's pause and hear these words on Super Talk 101.7 FM.
Do you know that stroke targets by color? Odds are, if you're African American, you're twice as likely to suffer a stroke as white Americans. Know where you stand, because beating the odds isn't about winning, it's about living. Join the power to end stroke at strokeassociation.org.
Back at Bill Brown Stadium in Blacksburg, Virginia. John Hale along with Harley Dixon, and Blacksburg leading 27-7 here in the second period. And once again, the Bruins have just put up an offensive show like they did last week. 207 total yards, 123 of it through the air, 84 on the ground for Blacksburg. For Graham, 3 bottles so far, 85 yards, 62 passing, 23 on the ground. Here's the kickoff. It's going to go out of the end zone, so Graham will be the first and 10. If you're, once again, Doug Mars, the head coach of Graham, you just got to be thinking in this moment, do you want to, how do you stop this from being just a roller coaster ride for Graham in this game and just being taken to the woodshed? You don't want to. But then again, they got to be thinking about the game last week.
And yeah, let's think about the game last week. Let's think about what happened to Blacksburg and the letdown in the second half. I don't want to go to opera jokes or anything, but the fat lady hadn't sung yet.
No, the fat guys have, but the fat ladies have. All right, here we go. Graham with the football. Here's the keeper and the new quarterback in the lineup. And that's going to be number 11, Jonathan Brewster, who's one of the wingbacks, moved to running back. He picks up about 1 yard on the quarterback keeper. He's going to try to run the clock down with 1:43 to go, 2nd and 9.
You think that's the plan now, just to get into the locker room for halftime for Graham?
Oh, absolutely. He does not want to give Blacksburg the ball back, especially with Violet, the kicker, who can hit it from 50 plus.
Right. Although he did have one blocked in the first try of the game.
That is true. 2nd and 9 now for the G-men at the 21. Split backs. Here's the quarterback once again, Brewster. Hands off to the big fullback. It's Tanner Howe. Guerreros, on the carry. So he picks up about 3 yards on the carry. 3rd down and 5 now for the G-men. Clock winding down, 1:10 to go. Once again here at halftime, hopefully we'll get a couple of these guys up here from the 1977 state championship team, 30 years ago. 30 years ago. I graduated in 75, and I played with some of these guys. A lot of these kids were on the JV team at the time. We knew they were talented. We knew they had a lot of talent. And, of course, you're talking about the quarterback Joe White, I think was a freshman when I was a senior. Or was a sophomore when I was a senior, I think. No, he's a freshman. That's right. And you had, I think, Mark Dimmick, I think, was the fullback on the team. You had Brian Sari's one of the linebackers on that team. I met a lot of these guys. Stanley Webb, Paige Moyer, the head basketball coach at Lerner College, was on that team. Whose father coached the Virginia Tech coaches for a series of many a year.
Play is stopped at the moment. Graham has called a timeout.
Yeah, they want to take a little bit of a breather. We'll stay right here. But I'm sitting here thinking, about that team, and I met some of these guys down here. One of my neighbors, Doug Smith, the defensive tackle on the team. Good gracious, that guy's gotten big. I mean, he has lifted some weights. I said he should be playing. He said I can play one play. That's it.
That's probably one play better than me. I'll give you that.
Okay. So anyway, hopefully we'll get some of these guys to come up here. I did talk to them. Hopefully they'll make their way. They're going to honor these guys here at halftime. All right, it's 3rd down and 6 now for the Graham G-men at their own 24 is where they spotted. And once again, the quarterback Jonathan Brewster in the lineup. Tight end to the right, split backs, and wide receivers to the left. And now there's an audible, and I think Graham wants to take a timeout and figure out what's going on with the Blacksburg defense. So we're going to pause with these words and hear these words on Super Talk 101.7 FM. Back at Bill Brown Stadium, and I'm sitting here in the press box, and there's like a puddle of water at the bottom, and I didn't spill anything. So
I'm not going to the other image that came to mind.
No.
But that didn't happen either.
No. Just sweat.
It is.
Okay, here we go. 3rd and 6 now for Graham. 1:10 to go here till halftime. Blacksburg up 27-7. And the defense is kind of moving around a little bit, I think, to confuse the Graham offense.
And the Blacksburg defense just has this air of confidence about them as well.
All right, and the quarterback now, Jonathan Brewster, under the center. 2 tight ends, split backs, and he's going to keep the ball going to the left side. Has no running room, and, well, he escapes a tackle, gets the ball down to the 30, down to the 31, enough for a first down. I thought he had it in the backfield. In fact, they did. And I think Blacksburg's Joey Phillips had him in the backfield, but the young Jonathan Brewster, 160-pounder, a senior, picks up the first.
Yeah, he did kind of squirt forward a little bit after I had looked down, thinking he was down. And I wasn't sure if he had actually squirted forward or if the ball had come out. But there was no uproar, so I'm going with your call, John. You've got better eyes than I do.
I'm just guessing. This 2200 vision. Horrible.
We're not telling people that.
Ball to 31. 1st and 10 for Graham. Less than a minute to go. And the handoff goes to the running back right up the middle. And he wants to, Doug Mars, I know, wants to run this clock, because that first down really helped him for that situation. And on the carry was number 32, Lonnie Scott, the 5'9", 210-pounder. Good-looking running back. Once again, Graham has some pretty good size up front. They got some pretty good running backs, some pretty big guys, and hey, we got a little bit of water here. All right, 2nd down and 8. 30 seconds to go here. We'll see if they don't keep it on the ground. The ball sitting right about the 32. And there's the handoff to the running back once again, and on the carry was Tyler Barreras, 6'8", 230-pounder. Picks up a yard, 3rd and 7.
I'll tell you, that's the advantage of having a daughter here at Blacksburg High School. You can send her on a water run, which is what I just did.
It is great. And Tyler Holmes was on that tackle. So the clock winds down to 0. That's the end of the first half.
There is a better way to have fun with history. Visit americaslibrary.gov. Log on, play around, learn something.
How about if we give you a little bit of stats? 27-7, Blacksburg leading Graham at halftime. And for the G-men rushing, they had 37 total yards. And they had 2 penalties for 10 yards. They had a fumble, but they recovered it. The number 21, the running back, Tyler Barreras, the big kid. Boy, he's a good-looking kid, 6', 230-pounder. And Barreras, a senior, and I'm sure he's getting a look-see from some schools around the area. He has a total of 19 yards on the carry on 10 carries. Also, number 32 is Ronnie Scott, the 5'9", 210-pound running back. He's a junior. Anyway, he had 1 carry for 4 yards. Also, number 11, Jonathan Brewster, and he kind of did a little bit of everything. He was a quarterback, he was a wing back, played a little bit of running back, and he had
receiver too. He received some of the kickoff.
He had 4 carries for 8 yards. So anyway, Graham with a total of 37 yards, and passing the football was David Mars, and the sophomore quarterback has thrown for 62 yards and threw the ball 11 times and completed 8. So there you go for Graham, a total of 99 yards of total offense. For Blacksburg, Latrell Key, 67 yards on 12 carries, and including a couple of touchdowns for that young man. And also Trey Gresh has carried the ball 3 times for 17 yards. And in the air, Trey Gresh has thrown the ball 8 times with 7 receptions. Pretty good job by Trey Gresh, for a total of 162 yards. So Blacksburg has a total of 207 yards of total offense.
We did have 1 injured player in the first half. That was number 14 for Blacksburg. That's Jordan Wade. He appears to have, they haven't given us the official word, but it looks like he tweaked the knee or something like that. His shoulder pads are off, and he's now in the locker room. He has suffered in the past from a dislocated shoulder. This didn't look like that was the injury he had tonight.
So they're honoring the 1977 state championship team, and most of the guys came back. There's a few that didn't, a few that couldn't, a couple that they couldn't find. But for the most part, the real core of this football team came back, and what a team it was. Like I said in the pregame, they came into the 1977 season with high aspirations. It was the third year for Dave Christ, and he came off a season in which Blacksburg was 10-0 going into the first round of the regionals against Martinsville, and Martinsville had a couple of kids on that team, folks who played in the NFL, just to give you kind of as to what kind of talent they were playing against, and I believe the score was 6-3. Martinsville won that game. It was the first loss for Blacksburg. They went 10-1. The very next year, that was Sidney Snell Senior year. The very next year, the 1977 year, I think they had high aspirations, but they weren't sure if they were a state championship caliber team. Well, folks, they lost the first game. They made a run at it. They ended up winning the state, defeating Southampton, who at that time, and you Hokie fans out there can remember Cyrus Lawrence. Well, Cyrus Lawrence was the running back on that Southampton team, along with Ashley Lee, who was a sophomore, but he was playing linebacker for Southampton in that game, and both players became all-stars at Virginia Tech. So they're honoring that team at halftime, and I have those people right here. I have a list of those folks who are on the team.
You know, looking out there, they all look pretty good.
Hey, they do. I'm telling you what, they can play.
Yeah, that's where I was going, sir.
And these guys have been very successful in life, and just to give you what kind of positions, who they are, the tight ends and flankers were Paige Moyer, of course, as we said before, Paige living down in Roanoke, Virginia, coaching the Roanoke College basketball team. Kevin Gasonis, Chuck Wright, Eddie Boyer, Pat Price, Phil Carr, Frank Hale, Mark Hill, Brian Camper, Bill Akers, and Jeff Ligon were the tight ends and flankers on the team. Defensive backs, linebackers, Greg Brown, Mark Dye, Tara McCoy, Brian Sorry, Randy Cates, and Randy put all this together. So that's a huge thing to do. Let me tell you what, to try to bring any kind of reunion, bring any kind of group back together. It's an undertaking, no question. So Randy Cates is in there, David McElwee, Jimmy Miller, Billy Gilly, Eddie Sherman, Hunter Clay. The centers and quarterbacks, and this was a pretty good crew, folks. It's probably the best trio of quarterbacks Blacksburg has ever had. I promise you. Joe White, Steve Mann, and Gary Weddle. Any one of those guys could have played at any time during the game, and they played all year. I mean, Joe White played most of the game. Steve Mann backed up, played some pretty crucial plays during the season. Gary Weddle came in and played some. The centers were Greg Blevins, Jimmy Underwood, and then the big guy, John Patterson. And back then, John Patterson was 6'2", about 270, and that was big. I mean, that was big back then for an offensive lineman. And John was a pretty good one. The guards and tackles were Robert Vanderverst, Randall Birch, Bobby Woods, Bob Porter, Stuart Taylor, Greg Poland, Doug Smith. Doug was my neighbor right there. Chuck Walker and Stanley Webb. And the defensive linemen were Jimmy Shaver, Pat Seabolt, Rick Frederick, and Rick, I remember him, he played nose tackle. It was a pretty good one. John Skelly, who was a junior on that team, later played at James Madison, and ended up playing at Virginia Tech Hokies for those Blacksburg High School aficionados who remember that. Robert Huska, Bobby Whitlock, David Rotenhauser, Mike Adams, and Bill Christopher ended up the defensive linemen. Running backs were Carl Zodi, and I remember Carl Zodi. Steve will remember this. Carl was 6'1", 215. Let me tell you what, he still looks stout. And that guy ran through the Gate City linebackers. Remember that game in the playoffs? He ran through the Gate City linebacker and literally just folded him in half. The kid was knocked out. They had to bring the stretcher on. They carried him away with an ambulance. That's how hard he hit him at the goal line to score a touchdown, a go-ahead touchdown. And then Jerry Farrell, Mike Coleman, Tony McGuire, Mark Dimmick, and Mark Dimmick was the big running back on that team. Mark had a lot of look-sees from some big-time colleges. I remember Clemson were looking at him, Virginia Tech, North Carolina, all of them were. And then Darren Stice backed those guys up. And then the kickers were David McMahon and Jamie Zuabetta Friedman. And then the managers, Walt Schill, Reggie Caldwell, Glenn Huffman. And the coaches were Dave Chris, Paul Boyer, and, of course, Paul passing away a year ago. And all our thoughts, always, all our thoughts and prayers will be with the Boyer family and Paul. And to Bob Holland, Craig Johnson, Dave Davis, Bill Brown, the legendary Bill Brown and Bill Winton. I mean, what a team. And if I missed anybody, I'm sorry. I pulled this up, of course, off their website. And God, if you remember the website, I'll give it to you. But it was a great thing. And what a great football team it was. And such an enjoyment to watch. And I had been at Ferrum College and done some things. And we have these guys here in the box with us. We're going to take a break. We're going to come back. We're going to take a 60-second timeout here on Blacksburg High School Football on Super Calls 101.7 FM.
Second team, respond to male subject, difficulty breathing, chest pain.
Your neighbors helped save a life last night. Be a volunteer. You can help save a life. You provide the time, we'll provide the training. To learn more, call the Blacksburg Rescue Squad at 961-1189.
Whether it's arts and culture, community events, great places to eat and shop, exciting athletics, you'll find it all in Blacksburg, the place to be.
So halftime score, Blacksburg 27, Graham 7, and once again Blacksburg 246 yards of total offense to Graham's 99. And once again, we hope this is not, a retake of last week when Blacksburg had a 23-0 lead at halftime and just kind of fizzled out in the last two quarters and went to 6 OTs.
Yeah, I really don't expect that to happen this time. They're coming out. They look like they have a little more purpose than they did after halftime last game against Giles. They came out at halftime just thinking, their body language was, yeah, we're all set. We're going to take this thing. There's no way they can Giles can come back. This week, their body language is a little different. They look a little more excited about play, a little more ready for play, and ready to take it on.
Okay, so Graham will kick off from right to left, and deep for Blacksburg is Latrell Key standing back at his own 5, and here's the kickoff. It's an end-over-end kick, a short kick, taken by the young man of Blacksburg, and that's Spencer Lincoln. He's going to bring the ball down to the 25, and it's going to be 1st and 10 now for the Bruins here at the beginning of the third period, leading 27-7.
Well, we have a moment injury update on Jordan Wade. He was taken off the field and then brought back out for the second half on the Bruins cart, so he is done for the day. His shoulder pads are off, and there is an ice pack on his right knee. That's the information we have right now on Jordan Wade.
We'll see if we can't find out what happened to Jordan. And he took a pretty good lick there on that reception on the far side of the field. He picked up a first down, got 16 yards on the reception. But got hit pretty hard there on the sideline. 1st and 10 now for the Bruins. Twin receivers to the left. Quarterback is Trey Gresh under center. High formation now for the Blacksburg, one of the many offensive sets. 6-man front now for Graham, and here's Keys over the right side of the line as he runs the football down to about the 21. He picks up maybe a yard on the play. And a tackle by the defensive tackle, number 63. Yeah, Graham, and that was Tony Barrera.
As you said, John, a 6-man front, which makes it a little more difficult to run up and open a gap. He did well to get the yard and a half that he got. Or maybe, I'm looking at it, no, maybe they didn't give him any yards.
They may not give him anything. They spot it right back at the 25.
So that 6-man front for Graham did do the job.
So 2nd down, and once again, they're gapping it up front. 6 men on the front line for Graham, and here's the handoff to Keys. He scoots over to left tackle, gets the ball down to right around the 31-yard line. He picks up 6 on the play. It's going to be 3rd and 4, and Keys was initially hit right at the line of scrimmage, but escaped the tackle.
Yeah, there was another 6-man front, and then they rushed up 3 or 4 linebackers as well to really stack the line of scrimmage, and that's why Keys went out to the Bruins left side and picked up about 6 yards.
And Doug Mars, who I guess took a lot of things from Glenn Carlock. You go back when Carlock was coach here. He would rush 8 men every single play. He wouldn't give you the opportunity to run it up the middle. He wouldn't give you the opportunity to throw it. If you're going to throw it, you had to throw it quick. All right, so it's 3rd down and 4 now for the Bruins at their own 31-yard line. Keys to the right. Here's Grish, the quarterback, throws the ball to the near side. Has it complete to Greg Keys at the 40. Crosses the 45, stays on his feet, crosses the 50. He's going to go down the sidelines, escapes the defensive back. He's at the 30, at the 20. He's at the 10, at the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Touchdown, Blacksburg. With 10:14 to go here in the third period, the Bruins scored to take a 33-7 lead, and a nice toss and catch from Trey Grish to Latrell Keys, and he scores 6, and it's going to be good for 69 yards.
The run after catch for Greg Keys was just incredible. He caught the ball, he made his cuts, he then faked out a couple of the defenders to get around them, and then about the 10-yard line, Graham gave up.
So a nice play by Blacksburg, and here's the extra point attempt by Violet, and it's up, and it's going to be high enough, long enough, it's going to be good. So with the score, Blacksburg 34, Graham 7. Let's pause and hear these words on Blacksburg High School football on Super Talk 101.7 FM.
Missed the last town council meeting? Need to know what was on the agenda? How did the members vote? Now you can have access to town happenings 24 hours a day at www.blacksburg.gov. Click on Online Video and choose the meeting you want to watch. And there is more than just town council meetings. You can see other WTOB shows like Energy, the Historic Lecture Series, and Dodgeball. Just go to your computer and log on to www.blacksburg.gov and click on Online Video. Just one more way WTOB is your Blacksburg Community Access Station.
Three plays, 76 yards, and a touchdown pass from Gresh to Greg Keys, and for 69 yards and a touchdown, the Blacksburg up 34-7. 10:14 to go here in the third period, and Violet will be kicking off from left to right. That's west to east here in this Bill Brown Stadium. There's the kickoff. It's going to be taken by the back man for Graham, and he's going to cross the 20. Escapes a couple of tacklers, across the 25 down to the 29-yard line, and on the carry was Dominique Lane. So it's going to be 1st and 10 now for the Graham G-men at their own 29.
And that was a pretty good run back. He started with his foot about 2 inches from the goal line. The official was standing right there looking down, said, all right, you get to go.
Okay, so Graham now trailing by 27 points here in this ball game. We'll see what Doug Mars with a very young football team, folks. He'll play as many as 12 sophomores tonight and about 3 or 4 freshmen. And he only has 5 seniors on this team. All right, 1st and 10, and their offensive lineman moves, and a legal procedure will be called, and the yellow flags come out. And you know what, Harley? The old yellow flags, the ugly flag, hadn't come out too often tonight.
No, it hasn't. There have been a couple. There was a chop block on the Bruins. There was an illegal procedure or two, and then 1 or 2 the other way as well. Penalties have been probably a little more toward the Bruins, but relatively even. I guess it's a 1 for. Looking at the wrong place. It's a 1 for Graham and 2 for.
2 for Graham for 20 yards, and Blacksburg has 3 for 15.
Oh, I'm looking in the wrong place. Steve did this nice program, and I can't find it.
I can't read it. He does a great job, though. Here's Graham. Here's the running back on the carry to the outside, and that's Tyler Barreras.
Oh, no, please. It was all me. Steve's got a great program going there. I just can't read.
So, 2nd down.
I didn't go to Blacksburg High School.
He may lose a yard on the play. We'll call it 2nd and 16. We learned our gazindas. You remember the gazindas?
I'm sorry, no.
2 gazindas, 4 2 times?
No,
3 gazinda, 6.
All right, there you go. Now I got it. Okay.
All right, here we go. 2nd down and long for Graham at their own 23. And here's the quarterback, and there's the snap. It comes back to the running back. Looks like a single wing set, and on the carry is Ronnie Scott. He comes to the near side, gets back to the 20. And he's going to lose a couple of yards on the play, and it's going to be 3rd down and 19. And hardly going to tell you what they went to, what they call it, I guess is what you call the shotgun set or single wing set.
Yeah, it was looked a little familiar from last week. And, of course, having just seen it, the Bruins knew how to react and took them down for a 2-yard loss. So Brewster, the quarterback, David Mars, the quarterback, are not in the lineup, so I guess they're going to stay with this on 3rd and long.
8:47 to go here in the third period. Blacksburg up 34-7. A nice showing by the Bruins tonight. And so far, 281 yards of total offense for Blacksburg midway through the third period. Here's a shotgun set. Here's a snap back to the running back. And going over right tackle is Tyler Barreras. And the 230-pounder crosses the 20, gets the ball down to about the 22. And it's going to be fourth down long, and Graham will punt it away. Not a good series for the G-men.
On the other side, though, a real good series for the Bruins, who basically controlled that line and shut them down. So since halftime, they have come out, they have taken over the offense and scored the touchdown, and now the defense did nothing but let the G-men lose yardage.
So standing back at his 10, getting ready to punt it, and I believe that is Herreras. The Key standing back at his own 45. There's the kick. It's end over end. It's going to be a short kick. It hits right around the 46, bounces back to right around the 46-yard line. Will only be out of bounds of Graham. So Blacksburg will take it over. First and down. A good rush by Blacksburg on that play.
A good rush and a low snap. He had to pick it up off the turf, almost off the turf, and rush the kick a little bit because Blacksburg was close again to blocking that kick.
So the official puts it down on the left hash, moving from left to right. On the Graham 46, Dave Chris has his offense huddled up. Here on the sideline, sends them out, and Trey Gresham crew will come out now and try to put 6 more points on the board with 7:48 to go here in the third period. Gresh, a 6'1", 200-pounder quarterback, just a junior, 3-year starter. For Blacksburg has done a masterful job tonight. Shotgun set, split backs. Receivers to the right and the left. Here comes the stunt right up the middle. Comes the linebacker, but here's Latrell Keys. Has some running room. Crosses the 45 to the 40 and scoots down to the 39-yard line. And on a stunt right up the gut was Tyler Barreras. And he almost got to Gresh, but a nice handoff and a nice little delay in the backfield. And Keys picks up about 8 yards.
Yeah, he timed the rush really perfectly. So he was right at the line of scrimmage, crossing it as the ball was snapped. But didn't quite get into the play because the play went just past him to the right side.
Officially 7 yards on that carry. We'll call it 2nd and 3, right inside the 40 of the G-men. Wide left goes Tyler Holmes. Wide right comes the big, tall, lanky receiver for Blacksburg, and that's Trent Woodell. And here comes the Grand G-men as they cross the line of scrimmage a little bit too early. Flags come down, and I believe this is going to be offsides. I don't think Blacksburg did anything to draw them offsides, so let's see.
I don't think Blacksburg did anything to draw them offsides and didn't flinch when they came with pretty much the whole team to pull into the blitz.
All right, so it's 1st and 10 for Blacksburg at the 34. 6:59 to go here, 34-7. The Bruins up over the G-men here in non-district action on this Friday night. Once again, I want to say congratulations to that 1997 state championship, or 1977 state championship team. Well done. Here's Gresh, the quarterback, hands off to Latrell. Keys over left tackle. He's going to cross the 30 as he booms his way down to the 29-yard line, and 5 yards on the carry. And Latrell Keys just about ran over the middle linebacker on that play, and that was Tyler Barreras, the 230-pounder on the tackle. I'm going to tell you what, he ran right over him to the point where Barreras had a little trouble getting out.
Yeah, I think there was on this side of the line, there was a little bit of motion early, didn't get called. Bruins got a break on that one.
So 2nd down and 5 at the 29. Keys comes wide to the right. Holmes to the left, I formation, and an offset I. Here's the handoff, goes to Latrell Keys over left tackle, and he's going to scoot down to the 26 and picks up just a couple on the play. We're going to call it 3rd down and about 3 for Blacksburg. And Blacksburg being very methodical right now in their offensive play calling. And I'm sure that with this lead, Dave Chris wants to eat up as much clock as possible.
Josh Parcell, the backup quarterback, just signaling in the play.
Here comes Keys, wide to the right. See if he doesn't do a little hitch and go on this play. Throw him to the corner of the end zone. 3rd down and short for the Bruins. Trey Gress, the quarterback, hands off to the fullback and up the gut. It's going to be in a fumble on the play. Let's see. And I think Graham has it. And they do. So Blacksburg fumbles it away. And number 31 on the carry, David Bales, I think, followed it. And now Graham will take it over 1st and 10. So they put the ball right down at the 24, 5:16 to go here in the third, 34-7. Bruins, and I hate to say this, but with a 34-7 comfortable lead, at least at this point. But I almost a little scared to say that.
Yeah, don't say there's nothing comfortable.
But Blacksburg playing with a lot of confidence right now.
They do have a lot of confidence until that last one, but even running off the field, they didn't look down about losing the football. They just looked ready to get into defense.
Here's the shotgun, and Dominic Lane has the football. He fumbles it, and I'm not sure if Blacksburg has it. I think they do. I thought I saw a blue shirt fall on it, and they did. Blacksburg has it. And the snap was a little high, and Lane now, who's back at that shotgun at that quarterback like a single wing, he couldn't get a handle on it and fumbled it. Now Blacksburg has it at the Graham 20.
Yeah, the fumble, he didn't look like he was quite ready for the snap. It came high. He knocked it down into his own hand so he could move with it. One step to the side, and Blacksburg put him down, causes the fumble, and recovers.
I didn't see who got it.
I didn't see.
But there was about 7 or 8 guys on the pile there, so
I didn't see the officials didn't signal right away either, so they were digging through the pile to find the ball underneath.
So 1st and 10, we'll call it the 21. The ball on the left hash, moving from left to right into the end zone from west to east. Wide right comes Keys. Tight ends to the right and left in the I formation. Gresh, the quarterback under center. Now there's a new quarterback in there now, and that's going to be Josh Parcell. Josh calling the signals, and he's going to hand off to the running back over right tackle. Latrell Keys moves across the 20 down to the 18, picks up 3 on the play. And it's 2nd down and 7. Clock moving, 4:59 to go in the third. Bruins with a 27-point lead.
And Josh Parcell, a wonderful contribution to the team. As a senior, he knew Trey Gresh was still the more effective quarterback, so Josh said, that's fine. I will still back him up. I will do what I can to help the team, and I think I can be most effective as the backup quarterback. Now getting a little bit of reward as the lead is fairly significant for Trey to come out and Josh to come in.
Josh Reynolds in the lineup now for the Bruins. Here's Parcell, the quarterback, and here comes the linebacker once again for Graham. And Tyler Barreras just a little bit early, and he just puts his hands on his hips and says, yeah, I made a mistake. And a little bit of a different cadence now.
Yeah,
new quarterback in there.
Right, he timed it earlier before under Trey. Now the cadence has changed, and he didn't get that one.
So 5 yards, move it up. It brings up 2nd and 2. And Josh Parcell, a senior, 6 feet, 170-pounder. Dave Chris said he has no problem. He would have no problem starting Josh at all. He has some great talent. Twin receivers to the right and left. Latrell Keys, the single set running back, and Parcell's waiting for the snap. Handoff goes to Latrell. He comes to the near side, has some running room, crosses the 10, gets inside the 5. Is going to be knocked out of bounds at about the 3-yard line. So a nice run by Latrell Keys. And they're going to spot him out right at the 4-yard line. So Latrell picking up 13 on the play. That's his 19th carry of the game.
Yeah, it looks at this point as it doesn't matter who's under center. If you have your quality players in there and whatever position they are, you move people around and keep everybody fresh for later if that becomes necessary. You can pretty much keep running the offense you want.
105 yards on the night for Latrell on 19 carries. Here are the Bruins inside the 5. Wide left goes Tyler Holmes. Single set back is Latrell Keys. Parcell's the quarterback under center. Tight ends to the right and left. Handoff goes to Latrell Keys, and he's going to be tripped up right about the line of scrimmage, and he falls forward to the 2. So he'll pick up 2 yards on the play. 2nd down, and the tackle came from the middle linebacker once again, and that was Barreras.
And you got to hand it to the kids who come in and help with practice all the time, and sometimes know they're not going to get into a game, but still are there to help the team.
Catch a replay of this broadcast, you can catch it on WTOB. All right, 2nd down and goal, 2 tight ends. Here's the quarterback. Parcell's going to hand off to Latrell Keys over left tackle. He goes in, touchdown Blacksburg. So with 2:43 to go in the third period, the Bruins go up 40-7. And once again, Keys from 2 yards out. That was his 21st period tonight, and he has 109 yards left. So Violet will come in and kick the extra point. And, when you think about last week and you think about this week, a win always does wonders when it comes to healing some of those wounds.
Yes.
Well, this will heal a few of those wounds.
This will heal a lot of wounds, and so help the guys feel better about going into to next week and at Liberty.
There's a snap, and the kick is up, and it's good.
Because that's going to be a long ride to keep focused all the way there.
An hour and a half next Friday night. We'll bring you the game from Bedford, Virginia. Anyway, with 2:43 to go here in the third period, Blacksburg 41 and Graham 7. Those calls in here. These words on Blacksburg High School football right here on Super Talk 101.7 FM. Welcome back to Brill Brown Stadium here in Blacksburg, Virginia, and Blacksburg up 41-7. And I guess, we talked about this, Harley, last week, and we talked about it with Coach Chris during the week, and, we said this was the beginning of a new season. You got last week's game out of the way, and this was the start of a new season. Nice way to go.
Absolutely. NFL's kicking off this weekend. New season for the Bruins.
What about Indianapolis? My goodness. Here's the kickoff. It's going to be taken by the back guy. Can't see his number. He runs the ball at the 10 to the 15 and brings the ball down to the 20. So Graham will take it over 1st and 10.
Bobbled the catch, dropped it on the 5, and had to pick it up and make what he could of it.
A.J. Jeffers, a 5'10", 170-pound junior, on the reception. So in the lineup now for the Graham G-men. We'll see what kind of offense they have in here, but they have taken out their 2 quarterbacks. Jonathan Brewster not in there, and David Mars, the starting quarterback, not in there either. So they're going to this single wing set, if you call it. Looks like a T formation in the backfield. Now they got the quarterback back in there. So under center, it's a new guy, and that's going to be Aaron Davidson. The handoff goes up to the up back, and he's hit right at the line of scrimmage, so nothing on the play. Maybe a loss of a yard, so it's 2nd and 11.
And Daniel Overstreet with that tackle.
So we'll get an update on stats here in just a second as Mr. Porter has those things done. As soon as I can see it, get my glasses on here.
We were talking about people moving in from out of the area. Daniel Overstreet's one who was originally from Richmond.
So 2nd down and 11 now for the G-men. There's a spread offense, and the handoff goes to the up running back. And on the carry is the big guy, Ronnie Scott, and he picks up a couple on the play. 3rd down and 7 for the G-men. 1:29 to go. The Bruins up 41-7. Graham on 99 yards of total offense so far here in this ball game. That's what they had at halftime, but the last couple of possessions for the G-men haven't been a very good one. Wide to the right. Goes a wide receiver, twins to the left, split backs. And Davidson, the quarterback under center, hands off to the up man once again. He's stacked up to the line of scrimmage, and a host of Bruins on the play. Led by the linebacker for Blacksburg, Adam Siegel.
You could just see that one coming. I mean, it was the G-men tried to run to their left or to their right, and we're having none of it. They all had shifted to their left, the G-men's right, and we're not letting there be any gain on that one.
So 4th down, the G-men will punt it away, and standing back at his own 12-yard line is Tyler Barreras, I believe. Greg Key standing back at his own 42, waiting for the punt. 22 seconds to go here on the clock in the 3rd period. There's the snap. Here's the kick. Almost blocked. A good rush coming from Blacksburg's Evan Sunshine. Here's the return by Greg Keys down the left sideline. Has some running room. He's hit right about the 38-yard line of Graham. And he'll pick up a 1st down, and he had 23 yards on that punt return, so the Bruins will take it over 1st and 10. And Greg Keys almost broke that.
He almost broke that, and then he got up a little slow and not quick back to the center of the field. I think he's all right. I think he's just probably a little tired from from the run, from the jog down the field.
It looked like he's kind of grabbing his arm. But now he's juking the jab a little bit and says, "Okay, guys, I'm ready to go again."
Yeah, now he's still walking to the beat of the band.
That's always a positive sign when you see that. So, all right, here we go. They're going to bring this play back. They're going to bring this play back, and I believe they call it all sides against Blacksburg. Did they? Yes. So Graham's going to punt it again. Okay. They're blocking the back.
Blocking the back against Graham. And Bruin should just get
Okay, Blacksburg has?
Yeah, Blacksburg's first down.
They didn't move the chains. I was a little confused. They were. Okay, here we go. 1st and 10 now for the Bruins at the 26-yard line now. 5 seconds to go here in the third period. Josh Parcell, the 6 feet, 170-pound senior, quarterback in the Blacksburg team, and the officials now come in, and, well, we need the football to play.
Yeah, did they do anything or just let the clock run out?
Yeah, just to let it run out. So
that would be it.
At the end of 3, the score, Blacksburg 41, Graham 7. This Paul's in here these words. Blacksburg High School football right here on Super Talk 101.7 FM.
Okay, we've got 2 8 o'clocks and then 8:30. I'm on my way. Have I forgotten anything? Of course I haven't forgotten anything. Are you nuts? A little bit more professional than that. There's just not enough hours in the day.
You know, there's easier ways to get internet on the go. Select Blacksburg Transit buses now offer free Wi-Fi wireless internet to facilitate all of your online needs. Just look for the Wi-Fi sign. Blacksburg Transit. Take a ride on the Information Superhighway.
Blacksburg High School putting up some yardage here in this ball game, and so far 318, 191 through the air, 127 on the ground. 1st and 10 now for the Bruins at the Graham 26-yard line. Parcell, the quarterback under center, I formation, tight end to the left, wins to the right. Ball sitting on the left hash. 41-7 lead by the Bruins, and Parcell handing off to a new running back in the lineup up the middle. Goes John Jennings, 6 feet, 190-pound junior, and he just took that ball and pulled his way down to near the 15 to the 16-yard line. So picking up 8 yards on the play, or 9 yards on the play, we'll call it 2nd and 1.
Yeah, it looks like Blacksburg spreading it around a little bit, giving some others an opportunity to get in the game and get some experience should they be needed down the road.
High formation, twin receivers to the right, tight end to the left, and then the lineup is Jamison Shabonowitz. And the handoff goes to, once again, number 16, the running back for Blacksburg, John Jennings, and goes over the right tackle. And he's going to be tackled back behind the line of scrimmage, a loss of about a yard, so it's 3rd down and 2.
Jennings just a junior. It'll, this experience tonight pays off later down in this season probably, and next year as well.
So with 10:42 to go here in this ball game, we could safely say that Blacksburg will take away their first victory of the year, 41-7 lead, and with the football at the Graham 18. 3rd and 2. Wide receivers to the left and the right. Parcell, the quarterback, I formation. There's a play-action pass. Parcell rolling out to his left side. Looks for the receiver now. Decides to keep it. Crosses the 15, down to the 10, down to the 5. He runs right through a Graham defender down near the goal line, and he's going to be close. The clock continues to run. So a nice run from Josh Parcell. And it's going to be good for 17 yards down to the 1-yard line. What a great play by your young quarterback.
Yeah, very well done. Very heads-up play, and just centimeters from actually stepping out of bounds, about 10 yards back. Didn't do it. Got down and took the defender head on and knocked the defender back a couple of feet.
They spot the ball at the 2, so that run was good for 16. And the Bruins threatening again. Wide right goes Austin Kennedy. Wide left is Woodell. Here's the quarterback, Parcell, I formation. In the backfield is John Jennings. Tight end to the right. Parcell's going to hand off to Jennings over right tackle. He scoots his way to the right side. This tackle brought down right about the 1. Dragged down by the collar, so it's going to bring up 2nd down and goal, and the ball sitting about the 1.5. Blacksburg sending in a new receiver, Mark Henson, in the lineup. Also, David Blackwell will be the receiver wide to the right. High formation, Jennings in the backfield, the tailback. And the fullback is Adam Suda. Parcell, the quarterback. Quarterback sneak up the middle. And is he going to be in? Touchdown, Blacksburg. So from 1.5 yards out, Josh Purcell puts his first touchdown on the board for the season. So with 8:53 to go, the Bruins up 47-7. So the Bruins, I would dare to say at this point, are I would say Dave Crisco's pretty good about this victory.
I think they're in control, and that's why you're seeing a lot of different players, a lot of new players, the younger players getting into the game and getting some game experience. Even though you had Mark Henson come in, he'd been in and out a little bit before, but he's out as a decoy. They spread the offense to pull the quarterback's team.
Jake Moyson, the new kicker for Blacksburg, boy, he put a foot into it, kicks the extra point, and it's good. Wow,
and he's on the roof too. The roof of the outbuilding of the west side of the stadium.
Blacksburg kicking game is in good hands.
It is.
So we're going to take a timeout. 8:53 to go here in the fourth period. The score, Blacksburg 48. Graham Sutherland calls and hear these words right here on Super Talk 101.7 FM.
You can turn the world on with a smile. Well, it's you, girl, and you should know it. Love is all around, why don't you take it?
The best way out is by coming in. Going to family learning programs helps you and your family lead better lives. Call 1-877-FAMLIT-1 because making it, after all, shouldn't just happen on TV.
Back at Bill Brown Stadium. Here's the kickoff by the Bruins. High into a green kick taken by the other man. Graham fumbles it at the 10. And on the carry is the scat back, Dominic Lane, and he moves the ball down to the 25-yard line where he's brought down. There by David Blackwell. So
yeah, he bobbled that kick, that reception a little bit, had to pick it up off the ground again and get what he could. He did a pretty nice job after he got it in control of the football.
Graham, a very young football team, folks, only 5 seniors on this team. And he played as many as 15 sophomores and freshmen tonight. Just to give you an idea how young he is. 1st and 10 now for the G-men at the 24. That's what he spotted. Full house backfield, and the handoff comes to the running back Lane. He stumbles across the 25 down to the 26 where the tackle was made by number 24, Chris Mabes. So a new lineup in there for Blacksburg as the backups come in. Get a little bit of playing time here.
Yeah, which is what Blacksburg's doing. But you talk about being for freshmen and sophomore for Graham, you can think about what this team's going to be like next year or the year after that when there's juniors and seniors and have all this playing experience.
He's going to have some talent and the size, and Graham always competitive. Here's the running back to the outside, and that's going to be Ronnie Scott. Loses maybe a yard on the play. So 3rd down and long now for the G-men. Nice reaction, nice play by the Blacksburg defense. Nice pursuit.
Yeah, I mean, this is the opportunity for these guys to get in and play and make a statement in their game to try and get more playing time later on, and to get the experience. So they're going to react well, and of course they get all the practice. They get a lot of practice time opposite the faster ones too. One
of the freshman quarterbacks for Graham out there, Aaron Davidson. Hands off to the running back up the middle, and that's going to be number 21, I think, Tyler Barreras. So he picks up some yardage, but not enough for a first, and it's going to be 4th down and short for Graham. Let's see what they do with 6:21 to go here in the 4th period. And they're going to go for it, and probably rightly so. Blacksburg, a couple of substitutions. Justin Huff in the lineup, and Jennings back in the lineup. All right, 3rd down, 4th down is short for Graham. And here's Davidson, the quarterback. Hands it off to the up back, and he's going to be short of the 1st down, I believe. So I think Blacksburg's going to take it over. And this is where the officials are going to spot it. Yes, so the Bruins will take it over 1st and 10 on the Graham 34-yard line, 33-yard line, and 5:51 to go. So far, Blacksburg 357 yards of total offense in this ball game. And Latrell Keys has had some nice rushing yards, 21 carries tonight. So far, 109 yards. And in the shotgun now is Parcell. Here's the spread. Wide receivers to the right and left. Single setback, and waiting for the snap from center is Josh Purcell, the senior. Hands off to the up back. Jennings over right tackle, and he finds some running room. Crosses the 30 down to about the 29. Picking up 4 yards on the carry. Second down and 6. So I'm sure Dave Chris at this point, Harley, is just looking for, get these guys some experience, and he has a pretty good looking bunch in there.
Yeah, Jake Molson was in there as well for that one as a decoy, and Walter Gachana was in there too, and I apologize if I get that name wrong.
Gachana, a senior, at wide receiver. And in the shotgun comes Parcell. Once again, taking the snap. He's going to run the ball here to the near side. He's going to be brought down to the backfield, and coming right through to make the play is the defensive end for the G-men, and that was Casey Barreras, the 6'3", 215-pounder, making the tackle way back at the 33, so back at the original line of scrimmage, well, back at the original start of this series of downs. So it's 3rd down and 10. 4:10 to go here in this ball game. Now Blacksburg will take and definitely take this first win, and I'm sure that this is going to be a happy bunch here in Blacksburg tonight. 3rd and long now for the Bruins. Parcell, the quarterback, standing back at his own 37. Takes the snap, rolls out to his right. The left-hander throws it out into the flats. It's going to be incomplete. He's looking for his wide receiver, Zach Woods, at about the 30, so it falls down. Incomplete, 4th down, and we'll see what the Bruins want to do, see if they want to punt it away.
Yeah, he had a defender in his face and tried to get it, rush the throw, get it over him, and short-hopped it.
So in the lineup, he's going to go for the down, and I'm sure he's going to run it. Actually, this is the good gesture by coach, because if you punt it and put it out of range, it just...
Yeah, I agree. If you do the field goal, it's just kind of rubbing salt in it, and punting it, you're not going to give him much advantage because you'll just give him 10 yards, or move him back 10 yards or so.
Brad Craves in the line of fullback for the Bruins. Here's the quarterback, Parcell. Back in the pocket. There's a play action. The left-hander throws it deep down the sideline to the end zone. He has the receiver open. He's caught it, and it's a touchdown, Blacksburg. And out there was number 18, Troy Whittier.
Yeah, as soon as we say, it's a nice gesture just to run the ball and wind the clock a little bit, Josh Parcell throws a touchdown.
So a nice passing catch from the quarterback to the wide receiver. That's number 19. That's Nick Carroll. I couldn't tell the number there, but a nice pass, nice catch, and Blacksburg goes up 54-7. And here's the extra point attempt once again by Jake Morrison. There's a snap. It's down. The kick is up, and it's going to be good. So let's take a timeout. At the score, Blacksburg 55, Graham 7. Let's pause and hear these words on Blacksburg High School football. Super Talk 101.7 FM.
So we've done some things where he jumps off from the side. We've done some things passing him back and forth. We've done some activities where he floats on his back, on his stomach. I think swimming is a fun thing you can do with your kid, and I think it's good for kids to learn about being in the water.
The Water Babies class is one of the many classes that the Blacksburg Parks and Rec Department has to offer for you and your child. Call 961-1135 or visit www.blacksburg.gov/recreation.
All right, back at Bill Brown Stadium. Blacksburg kicking it off to the Graham G-men. The up back is Dominic Lane. He has some running room, goes right at the middle to the 30-yard line on the return, and there's a flag down.
Yeah, Lay did a nice job of actually just kind of laying back. He waited for the play to develop, waited for his blockers to get in there, and then hit that burst of speed.
I'm going to tell you, I saw something I really don't like, and don't criticize the officials that much, but I'm going to tell you what, that official threw that flag a good 15 yards from the play. He threw it right at the player. Now, we know what happened in the National Football League 2 years ago to the offensive lineman where that flag hit the player in the eye. Let me tell you what, shouldn't do that.
Well,
long throw.
My guess is it was a spot foul. He needed. That's why they're weighted, so he can get that. I agree with you. You don't want to hit the players. And yes, he did throw it about 15 yards, but that's what they're supposed to do to make sure that the spots get marked.
All right, 1st and 10 for Graham, and here's the up back on the carry for the G-men. He runs the ball across the 20 down to the 25-yard line. I think is where they want to spot it. And on the carry was Dominic Lane once again, the scat pack. 59 seconds to go here in this ball game. Blacksburg up 55-7. They'll take their 1-1 record to Liberty High School next week in Lynchburg, Virginia. A long trip for us. And then we take a week off.
Yeah, actually, it'll be Bedford, just a little bit north of Bedford, and we'll have that game on Super Talk 101.7.
And here you go again, and Graham just content to run this game out. The clock winds down, and players getting up, shaking hands, patting each other on the helmet, and saying good game.
That's always a positive. I mean, you go out and you really want to win the game, but when it's over, we're all community. We're all members of the same community, and all have to be good sports about win or lose. And saw that last week too with Giles.
It's so nice to be on the winning end. Let me tell you. All right, on the 3rd down and short, and Graham going for it, and they're stacked up to the line of scrimmage, and that's going to end the ball game.